Welcome to the Travelling Brush Dippers. We hope you enjoyed the last episode where Sharon showed me through how to play with these fabulous Kuretake pens. Really enjoyed it. We just worked out how they use. So she was just showing me to start off with how they work and how you use them. And today she's going to show me how to do this fabulous eye. Now I really enjoyed it. I was a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure how it was all going to go and where Sharon was heading with it, but we got there. It was great fun and I hope you enjoy this episode. Sharon really is a fabulous tutor. So enjoy and thank you for dipping into our conversation.
Well, we'll have a little go at that with this for a minute,
Okay.
but I think what we need to have first, let's not be too excitable. Let's start with one of the pale greys. Have we got a palish grey? I have blue grey. I'm happy using that.
I've got light grey.
Yeah,
I've got
oh,
blue
so
grey.
have I. Right, light grey, yeah.
I've got blue grey as well, whichever we
No,
prefer.
use the light grey because then we can always come back in and reinforce it. But it's better to do that, I think. First thing I'm going to do is I want a shape which does this. It comes up. Can you see that? Yes.
You can. I'm going to watch you first.
And then it comes down.
Okay.
And then from here, I want to do a shape that comes up round here and comes up and meets it. So it's a kind of sideways tiered one. Imagine you're looking inside a cave.
Okay, let me join you. Turn. I'm going to draw my mountain.
Yeah.
To about there. And then this is flatter along the bottom, isn't it? But still a bit of a curve.
Yeah, and it comes up to meet it. Yeah, that's it. Lovely. Right, and then what we're going to do from here, so just where the curve started, about the centimetre up the curve, from there, we're going to have it narrower there, and then wider as it comes out through here.
Okay, so narrower there and wider out there. Do I need to go a bit longer?
Maybe mine's a little bit too long, so to the corner of the eye is good.
Okay.
That's better. Yours is better than mine. That's lovely. Now what we want to do here is just a teeny little bit like that, teeny little bit, and then from this corner down here we're going to put in that bottom lid. Okay, bring it up, bring it round to meet.
Okay. Can I do it? Does it matter which way I do this?
No, but I want to have that lovely little bottom lid in there. Okay. Perfect. Now, from the top of this eyelid here, I'm going to paint in a dome. Oh, I've gone wobbly. Doesn't matter.
Got a wobbly dome.
Paint in a dome, and this is going to be the iris. That's it. And then I'm going to come in from here, and I want it quite a sharp, steep.
Oh, okay. So it's looking up.
Yeah.
Right. So from about there.
Yeah. It's a tricky angle, but it's worth doing if we can get it right.
Not quite as good as yours, but it'll do.
Perfect. And then in here, we're going to echo that shape.
Yeah.
And in here, we're going to put in the pupil. So it will be that shape. So that's our drawing. We've drawn that with this grey. Okay, so we have our drawing and we know where we're going to go with that. And now we've got to go in there and start adding some shading and some colouring.
Okay.
And quite a bit of pink involved, really. I want to use, now this is where we're going to start mixing some colours.
Okay.
I'm going to use my light violet and my light pink.
Okay, I have both of those.
And what I want to do, I'm coming along that bottom lid with the light pink.
Okay. All the way along?
Yeah.
It's a very pretty colour.
It's lovely, isn't it? What would you call it? It's not salmon. It looks salmon on there, on the nib, but when you get it on the paper, it's not, is it?
No, and it's Hubba Bubba.
Yes, it is actually. Chewing gum, yes.
Misspent youth.
It certainly is. I quite agree with you. God, yeah, but it wasn't good, was it, when it blew first and went all the stuff all over you? No, that's another story.
No, but on the paper, it's that kind of colour, isn't it?
It is. You're right, actually. So I'm going to put it in the corner of the eye. It's all looking a bit lurid at the moment, everyone.
Okay, but all of that corner.
Don't worry about it, yes. This is all going to just soften down. It's going to be okay. This is our basic get stuck in.
Mummy Sharon.
Trust me, I'm an artist.
There we
I
go.
want to. Now, this is where we're going to start having a little bijou blendette, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to get into this corner and just introduce the pink into the corner of the eye. And then I want to take my brush while it's still damp, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to interfere with it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I shall get on with that bit.
That's it. And just come in and dig at it.
Okay.
Because if we try and pull the colour out, that tends to make a mess with brush strokes, really.
It's too far, doesn't it? So it's pushing back into it.
Yeah, but it gives that softness, doesn't it?
Yep.
And I want some of that underneath here as well. So we're going to just scumble some of the pink in underneath the eye. And then whilst that's still wet, I want to do exactly the same. Come in underneath it and just soften all of that. And now we're going to see how clever we can be to get rid of any hard edges. Just dampen it down. Keep cleaning the brush. Dab, dab. And then come out from the colour. I'll just put some colour in there. Okay. Next thing, I want to come along that crease line, and I'm going to introduce some of that pink along there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pull that down onto the eyelid.
Okay.
Like that.
Righty-ho, I can do that.
So we've got some skin tones in there. That's what we're after. So that goes away for a little minute. And then I'm coming in with my purpley colour.
Right.
So this is my light violet.
Yep, I have that. Let me see what you do.
And I want to pop that up there in that area there. And then I'm going to do this nudge, budge and smudge thing in there.
Okay. I can do that. You don't want your brush too wet, do you? It's just got to be wet enough.
Because if we make it too wet, we'll end up with cauliflowers.
Yeah.
It will cauliflower just like watercolour. So, you know,
well, I've got a little cauliflower down here. And once that's dried off, I'm going to just put my line back on for that bottom.
You can swipe through it. Yes, yes. Good plan. Good plan.
I don't think I've done that enough.
Which what? Oh, in there, you want it a bit darker. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay. Now in this corner where we did that little nubby bit before, that is going to land up being the tear duct in there.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring that down and blend And the reason I've done that is in 2 parts is because I still land up with that lighter area in there. All right, so I wanted to keep that, and I want to come through here, and where the iris sits on this bottom lid, we're going to offer up some shadow under there, and we're just going to blend that.
It's fascinating because you work in a completely different way to me. So it's an absolute joy to do something.
To do something different.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun when I came to visit you, because of course you and I sat and worked together and painted the sky, and that was fab too. Loved that. Loved it. Loved it. So up here, this area here, I want to make that quite dark there. All of that. I'm going to get hold of my brush, and I'm going to soften that.
From the pupil across, it's dark, haven't you?
Yeah. So really all we're doing at the moment is still putting the skin tones in. You've got choices from here. We can add other colours and do other things to it. But at the moment, we're just adding in those skin tones. And we're going to use this dark right in that corner there too.
Okay.
To make that dark. And we're going to blend that onto the pink. And the same applies. Just go in and cut into it.
Now you seem to have managed to get this a bit bolder than me. I feel mine's particularly up here. I'm still a little bit.
What, you're a bit
light.
Yeah, you come back, yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there and see what happens.
Okay, right. You ready for the best bit, the exciting bit?
Yes.
We want the light yellow, the bright yellow. Which one did you use? You used...
I've either got yellow or I have bright yellow. I have them both.
I think I want the yellow because that's a bit lighter, isn't it?
Yep.
So what I want to do with that is around this area, right in the middle of it, right here, I want to put yellow like that. And that's going to become just a... You see what I've done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then we're going to go for, I want to get the colours right on this. This is the orange. So if we find our orange.
I have orange.
And what I want to do with this, now you start covering the grey. So I want to come down here, cover that grey. So come right round, cover the grey with the orange. Nice edge. All right, so we've done that. And now we want to just flick a few little bits of colour up into the yellow. And then I'm going to use my brush to just nudge and budge the two together. I don't want to lose the yellow. Okay. All right, so I'm just gently pulling the orange up to meet the yellow, really. Politely, hello yellow, I'm orange.
Lightly introducing them to one another.
Yes, yes, just gently. Okay. How's that? Oh, exciting. Now, take your grey, just take your grey, and through the middle of the eye, I want to just put in a box. And that's going to be our highlight.
Okay.
All right, so we want to just reserve that. So when we say reserve it, what we mean is we're going to keep the white so that it stays as reserved as paper. Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then we're going to go all out with our red. So I've got red, you don't, do you? You've got the carmine, haven't you, or whatever?
I have carmine red.
Okay.
I think it's similar looking at them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's all right. Maybe mine's a bit more orange, but it doesn't matter at all. And what I want to do now is come from the grey of the pupil to the yellow.
Okay. Now my paper is still a little bit wet. Does that matter?
You could try it, see what happens, see if it bleeds into it, because I am going to blend. So, you know.
Yeah.
Come up to where we've reserved the space, all right? And there's my red in there. And then just to balance it up, down here from the edge of the eye, come in and just like you did with the orange, introduce a few little flicks of the red, like that. All right, just add a few little bits. Doesn't matter where, but I want some of the red laid over the top of the orange.
Yeah, got that.
And then again, just with the brush, gently, gently, not a lot of water, just give it a bit of a smudge and a nudge and a budge.
Bit of a tickle.
Yes, please, yes. And again, try not to lose your yellow.
Yep.
And the eyes should already start to be looking quite kind of limpid and wet. Now you see I've lost my yellow, so I'm going to go back up there with it. So whilst it's still damp, I'm coming back up there and just reintroducing that little bit of yellow.
Okay.
Oh my word, that's really looking quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've done that. Now I want to go back into a real dark purple. So this time, we used last time the light violet. Can we be very, very brave now and use the violet?
I have violet.
It's much, much darker, much darker.
Yeah.
And it's scary. I know it's scary, everybody.
What are you going to do?
Well, with the violet, and I think, Denise, you're brave enough to grab some of the, it's not called Prussian blue, it's called Persian blue.
Yes, I have that.
Got that?
Yeah, red is the only one I've got different. Everything else I've got in my kit as well.
Isn't that strange? Well, it makes me wonder if I haven't muddled my brushes up somewhere along the line when I get between. Probably working with them on TV and stuffed them all back.
Wrong one's gone back in a box, possibly.
It's possible. So what I'm going to do here with this dark, dark violet, keep that lovely and straight. That's the top of the eyelid. And I want to introduce some of this dark violet and the blue. So mix them up. Don't worry about it. Keep the reserve of that light.
Yeah.
Don't get that lost. And we're going to come down there. So dark shadow underneath that eyelid. And then I'm going to use my brush. Again, barely damp, everybody. So in the water, dab, dab, and then come in and just blend those two colours together. I want them really dark.
Okay, I'm going to be brave. I'm going in.
Really dark.
Sharon.
Be brave. Because it's your darks that make your lights look light, and your lights that make your darks look dark. That's it. Want it to look quite dramatic.
It does, doesn't it?
Quite dramatic.
Right, and then just going to blend those two together.
Often, yeah.
Like you say, it's not a wet brush at all, is it? It's
no.
In the water, on the cloth.
Just damp, really. If you go in too wet, you'll find that it really will create cauliflowers, and the colours will spread too much, and then you'll get cross with it because it will look dirty.
And then you'll be say naughty words about Auntie Sharon and Denise.
Yes, it will all be our fault, won't it?
Yes.
So I'm back on my purple. You back on your purple?
I can be back on my purple.
You could be. And I'm going to come down this edge. I'm defining that. And then as I come down, I want to add purple down here as well. And I want shadow there where it meets that bottom. So I'm just going to introduce that little bit of scrubbing in there to give it a bit of shadow. And that I'm going to nudge and budge as well. So this time I come in from this side.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Always come into the side that you want to move.
Yeah. The other side stays clean, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the most delicate of manoeuvres.
I'm not very good at delicate manoeuvres, Sharon. You've known me long enough. I just need to, I've lost the roundness of that a little bit.
Well, I'm going to come in here now, and don't worry, because what I'm going to do is come in with my damp brush on this side, and I'm just going to gently, gently, gently loosen that just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. So if I hold it up, people can see what I've been up to.
Okay, got you.
Right. I don't like that on mine. I think that's a bit hard. So I'm just coming in there. That's better. That was a bit too hard. So that's me, but I just
having a little nudge.
You're having a little nudge and budge and smudge.
I am, yeah.
Nudge, budge and smudge. Very well-known solicitors they are, you know. I believe there's some brothers called that up in the north somewhere as well.
Well, we used to live near somewhere that had builders. Leg it. Every now and then you'd see the van go past.
How lovely. I mean, that's quite a normal name, isn't it? But it is hilarious, I've got to admit. It is hilarious. I'm back to my purple, and all I want to do now with the finest tip of this brush,
okay,
I'm going to come in and just slither up some of these striations that we get in our pupils. And it's not a lot, everybody. Can you see where I'm going?
Yeah, delicious.
These teeny tiny little striations. Some of them come out from in the iris, and they all radiate into the pupil. So there's no getting away with it. They all radiate in.
What a beautiful fine tip they've got.
And they just, they are rather lovely, aren't they?
Are we doing a few of these going over into the shadow at the top, even though it's quite subtle?
Where are we going?
You know, up here, am I going to...
I'm not going to bother too much because we're going to get involved with some eyelashes in a minute. So I think that negates the... it could mean that we're going to lose that. Right, black. Where's the black?
Black, black, black.
I want black. Here we go.
Black, and it says black.
Black. And we're now going to come in here, and now we really are going to make this the most beautiful, beautiful pupil that you have ever seen in all your born days. Right, now choices here are we can make it lovely and dark, solidly black.
Yeah.
Or we can put some colour on it and then you can come in with your brush and you can nudge and budge and smudge a little bit of it like that.
Okay.
So these are choices. And what we do need to do, lovely, lovely fine brush now.
Yeah.
Beetle one here. This pupil goes up behind this light square, and that's why I left that grey there, because I want to now pull it up. Gently just pull the black up through it.
Yeah.
Let me show you so that you can see what I've done.
Yeah.
Right.
Got that.
And what we need to do now is introduce a slab of dark down here. So again, brave, brave, brave. We're coming into that blue and down the side of that. I'm going to do that because it's your darks that make your lights look light.
Okay.
Etc., etc. And I'm sure that all of you get bored to death with all of us artists going on about this, but trust me, it is the law.
It's the rules, isn't it?
Yes, in it. You know, I've got mixed media here. I've got cat fur. I always land up with Socks's fur everywhere. Always, always. So what do we do now, and how can we kind of make this look really interesting and fun? You could go into this and you could introduce a bit of sort of smudgy eyeshadow if you wanted to. Yeah. And if I was going to do that, I would definitely go in. She's got orange eyes, so would you suggest that green would be the way forward with this?
Oh, green would be really, really stunning.
Of course, green is complementary to orange. And I now want control over this, total and utter and complete control. So I'm going in with a brush and water. And I'm going to pull my green up and through. It's not going to show a lot, you know, so maybe I'm going to have to be a bit braver than I thought.
Go on, Sharon, you can do it. You can be brave.
Very though. And we're glazing, everybody. We're laying this over the top to give a hint of colour. So if I do that, and then
what colour did you use? The light green?
I'm using the light green. I really like the light green. And if I lay that up there through the crease of the eye, I can then come in above it. And I can blend it up like that as eyeshadow.
Now I'm going to be awkward.
Go on.
You did that subtly with a brush. And I've just put it straight on.
Go for it. I mean, that's the point, really. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it in a way that suits you and you're comfortable with. Do you not agree?
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
You know, I've always thought to myself, that's one thing about being self-taught. Nobody has ever told me that I can't do it, or I can do it, or should do it a certain way. I've had to teach myself, and therefore anything goes. It doesn't matter. And I really don't care very much. I just want to do it my way.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you totally.
Like Frankie,
you've got a much more subtle shadow, and I've got an unsubtle shadow.
Yeah. No, all right, fair enough. With this white of the eye, we could go into that, and we could be adding all sorts of interesting little red veins in there, but I don't want to make her look as though she's been out on the binge the night before. It's not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
If anything, I would just pull some shadow along just by getting hold of what we have here and pulling that through there.
That would work, wouldn't it?
Soften the edges, keep the edges nice and soft, keep that subtle, but it just gives it a bit of a shadow under here, which makes it interesting. And then I want to think to myself, do I need that absolutely pristine? You see, it's very fashionable at the moment with something like this to come in here and be introducing something else. So you could imagine that she's looking out of a window and there are buildings outside. You could
it'll be upside down.
Yeah, just movement in there. So that's up to you. It's very fashionable at the moment to represent window panes in an eye. You know, the square of a window pane. So that's doable. The other thing that's very fashionable is a circle, you know, as though it was a circular light.
Well, a lot of people are taking selfies with their ring light. So you often get that ring light reflected.
Right in the middle of the pupil.
Yeah.
Now with the black, we're going to see just how clever we can be, because we're going to use the black to drop in the eyelashes.
Oh.
Do it where it's dry, because if we go in where it's wet, we're going to have issues, because it will smudge and it will run. So you've got to be brave here, because these eyelashes come from right around here. This is the eyelash line, all right?
Okay.
And these eyelashes will do this.
Mine
they
don't.
come at all sorts of interesting angles. I mean, some of these will flick out here. Keep it lovely and beautiful and fine.
Oh, how does
that's right? And then you've got, oh, I'm a bit wet there, it's a bit concerning. As you come down and across the eye, these eyelashes are coming forward across the eye. Some of these.
Of course, yes.
I'm a bit wet there. I'm a bit wary of going in there, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. Round here, the eyelashes on an eye are a fan. So they will literally do this as they come round the eye.
Yep.
Right. So these eyelashes here will be coming again across the eye. And the eyelashes down here will fan out, little ones this way. And they're not on that inner edge, they're on the outer edge. They grow from here. Yet here, you'll be looking at them pointing this way. And of course, they're much smaller on the bottom eyelid. All right. And some of them cross over each other. So don't be afraid of doing that. Some of them are longer than others. They reckon the average life of an eyelash is just 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks.
Amazing we've got any length to the eyelashes at all.
Yeah, yeah. So how fast do they grow, we ask?
Don't know.
So round and through. You probably even see them growing in the day like plants do, you know. Gosh. And this is quite an interesting feel, because you've got to get the feel of where the brush is on it, because you 90 degrees to the paper, look.
Yeah, to keep that thinness.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go in, Sharon. I'm going in.
Well, go for it. Go for it. If you press too hard, we look as though we put too much mascara on. So this is the worry. Quite a bit. I'm going quite dark there, because you're going to be seeing quite a few eyelashes through each other at this point. How's it going?
Well, I've got some. Now I see why you weren't worried about me doing that little bit at the top.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, does it?
No.
Doesn't matter. I can start introducing some through there. Like that. So I'm flicking up here. And in this area here, I'm even going to go in and darken some of that, as though you're looking through lots of eyelashes.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling some through with the brush, which makes them grey.
Right, so I need to put a few of these really fine ones on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. I think in the corner of this eye, I need to make that even darker to push it back, to push it away here and here. So I think I'm going to attack that with this dark purple. I'm going to go in there. Never be afraid of going back in and having a retwiddle.
No. And by going and doing it as a retwiddle, you've got a bit of control, haven't you? Because you've done some, you've allowed it to dry, and then you're kind of reworking.
And you get the balance then, don't you? Because you know how light and how dark you need it to be. Because of course it's the darkness in this picture is dictated by the colour of the pupil, isn't it?
Yes, totally.
My girl's got a lot of mascara on.
Mine's got quite a lot of mascara on. I think mine's full flashes.
Oh dear. This is the stuff with added fibres, obviously. Oh gosh. Oh, she's not bad, is she? I think I'm going to be quite brave. That's a bit dark. That's the violet colour. I'm going to try the light violet, and I just want to outline that edge of that bottom lid.
Okay.
That's better. I'm wondering what would happen if I took some red and added a bit of red to some of this to pick up on the red in the eye. I'm just playing, I'm playing now. So I've just added a bit of red in there. Because parts of the eye are really quite red, aren't they?
Yes, particularly in the sort of corners inside.
Yeah. So I'm just adding that over the purple. Oh, that's better. That makes that quite dark and lustrous in there. So I'm going to come in there. Of course, my biggest problem now is not to go in and mess up the black that I've put in, because that could be a real issue if I start to move that around. We keep fiddling and we keep playing until we're happy with what we've got. But the point is, if any of our people out there are looking in and are watching in and have a go, don't forget, send it in. Let's have a look. We'd all love to see what you're up to.
Now it's difficult because you know what you were aiming for. So when I started this, I didn't the shapes and things like that. I wasn't quite sure. So, but I'm really happy with sort of the textures that we've got in that.
Working, isn't it? But do you see how versatile this is to be able to?
I would never thought you could have that much subtlety and life. Pen.
But it makes quite a vibrant picture, doesn't it? It's exciting, I think, is the word I'd use, maybe.
Yes. It's really good as well. I love it.
Yeah, I really like eyes. There's something about, the mystery and what's somebody thinking when you look in their eyes, and I don't know. I suppose because it's the thing that we look at first on a person, isn't it?
You say you read somebody's, moods and souls and all the rest of it come from the eyes, don't they?
And it's an interesting question because we've had many a discussion with different friends about eyes, and when you're painting a picture, do you put the eyes in first or do you put them in last?
I don't tend to put them in first. I used to put them in first. But to me, if everything else works without the eyes make it work. But the eyes can make a bad picture look okay. So if you do the eyes first, you might not resolve some of the things you need to resolve first. So I try and do it that way around. But, that's just me.
It's interesting, isn't it? I from experience, I have painted and landed up with doing the eyes last.
Yeah.
And consequently, I've landed up with a really ugly pair of eyes, and the whole painting is bin worthy.
Okay, and see where you're coming with that one. Yes, I get that.
40 hours on a picture, and I do something stupid like that. That's scary.
Yes.
So for me, I do tend to paint my faces first and get the eyes in there, and then the rest of the picture comes around. Because the other issue is,
you would do it if you did the face first and then put the eyes in before you did the rest of the painting. I get that, but I don't know. For me, the bit that's most exciting is the eyes. So therefore, if I've done that bit, I can get bored with the rest of the painting before I've done it.
Oh, that's very true. I agree with that as well.
Yes. I'm colouring in,
Yes, no, I agree with that. Yes, I wouldn't argue. Yeah, looking good. Look.
Fab. I think we've got a couple of.
They are good. Actually, my goodness, don't they look striking?
Yeah.
I was going to do a bit of spattering on that. I'm not sure if I want to.
No, I don't think it needs it. I love the way all of this works actually in the
gorgeous, isn't
it? Yeah.
And we haven't at any stage corrupted the paper, have we?
No.
For all the layers that we've put on, has it come through? No, hasn't on mine. Is it on yours?
No, not at all.
So that's okay, because very often when you use other kind of spirit-based pens, they come straight through the paper.
You have to be careful what surface, your table
if you were sitting at mum's dining table, it would be a disaster.
Could be less than fun.
Yes. So clean. All right, so to sum up, what do we think are the benefits to using these, and then what are the cons?
Very portable, so you could take them out with you. Very clean, beautiful quality, and a lovely fine line. Very versatile. This is my first impression from the first time I've used these. What have I missed, Sharon? What have I missed?
Well, I think they're very easy to use, aren't they? They're very
Yeah.
pleasing to use. I just like the sweep of the brush and the way the brush moves.
It's a nice tip to work with, isn't it?
Yes.
You lent me one of your brush pens before, a black one, when we were out sketching. And again, it's just a really weird sensation to be drawing with a brush.
With a brush. That was an incredible pen, because that was actually a fountain pen.
Yes, yeah, it was amazing.
With a brush point.
Brush tip.
So, yes, quite amazing. So yes, from that point of view, I really agree with the fact that they're portable for going out.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to use them to paint on plein air, you can of course take a water brush, couldn't you? You don't need all the brushes and water and equipment. So some tissues for mopping and dabbing, and a water brush, your job's done, isn't it?
Oh, completely, yeah.
And what do we think there are any disadvantages? I'm struggling.
I'm struggling to think of a disadvantage. The only thing I can think of is it just take a little bit of getting used to, because you're used to having a palette and picking your colour up and putting it on your paper, you know. Whereas this is, you put the layers down and then you mix them together. So it's not a disadvantage, it's just something you have to get used to.
Yes, yeah. I find that they're nice to get. I've used these in on top of watercolour before.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, when I've used my watercolour to go in and do, these would be a real pain in the neck if you wanted to do a big sky.
Yeah.
I've done that, I've tried that, I found it difficult. I've got lots of backgrounds and lots of cauliflowers.
Okay.
If it was me, I would go in there with a quick wash with watercolour. And then when that was dried, then I would start working into it with the pens. Because you've got the precision. You don't, again, there's an idea, because we don't need to have lots and lots of different brushes now, because this one particular size of brush will give you that fine point, plus give you big coverage if you wanted to cover a larger area, of course.
Yes. See, I could see watercolours can be very delicate in colour unless you're really competent at using them. So I could see if you wanted to have a punchy watercolour, that you lay your background wash in for the watercolour with watercolour, and then you come in and add your oomph.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I use them a lot when I'm working and painting ACEOs, you know, the artist cards, editions and originals. So these are small paintings, miniature paintings, and very often my starting point is a big one that I don't like, I cut up, and then to go in with real good depth of colour, these do it for me. And with the fine points, I can get right in there. Can I go and get some and I'll show you so that you can see? Here we go. These are a couple of examples where I've taken a painting, torn it up, and then gone in. And these little brushes, I can paint all of that detail with no trouble at all. So this is called Grandma's House.
Oh, it's lovely. So you have these, they're ACEOs, which are like artists trading cards, aren't they?
Yes,
so
it started off, didn't it, as artists cards that you could share, trade.
Yes, but now they've become collectible in their own right.
Yes, because it's one way of obtaining a piece of art for not a lot of money. Yeah, you know, so your well-known, beloved artists, you can come along and buy a little small, teeny, tiny offering. An original painting. An original.
And where do you sell these?
These are all on my Etsy shop. So you'll find that Etsy, and it is called Touching Magic, all one word.
Okay.
Touching Magic.
We'll put that in the link as well.
I wasn't allowed to have my own name because somebody else has got it.
Touching Magic is lovely.
There you go. But
Yeah,
look
no,
at
they're fabulous, aren't they? And they cover well as well, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
been such fun, and I have learnt so much. Thank you.
you're very, very welcome. So that's Kuretake
Yep.
Clean Colour Brush pens, and they're just wonderful. I love them.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Sharon. So thank you for joining us, and thank you, Sharon. I have learnt so much. I really, really enjoyed that, and they're fabulous pens. So yeah, definitely a new one to the arsenal. And thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you for
Dipping into our conversation.
We'll see you next time.
We certainly will. Bye. See you.
And Sharon said, "Let there be light."
And there was. We turn the main lights off as well. And that takes the shadow away from the
It's all very
board.
clever, isn't it?
And then if I turn this one on as well, it doesn't help because it's such a very way. I said, let there be light, and there was. Oh my goodness. But the point is, for this now, you can see this well. So you don't need to see me. They're gorgeous for rewind. They are beautiful for calligraphy because, of course, you can come up and down.
And thank you for joining us and for dipping into our conversation.
Oh, right. Sorry. I thought you were going to expect me to say, come back and we'll dip into. Okay, sorry.
Oh, Sharon, you failed there.
Sorry. Epic fail.
Take two.